many places on Earth that make us feel like we're in paradise, but there is one country where the beauty of its waters and the warmth and hospitality of its people are so immense that tourists find themselves enveloped in temptations that are difficult to resist. In this new video from Uncensored World, we're going to learn more about Cyprus, one of the most fascinating countries on Earth. The island where the goddess Aphrodite emerged naked to grant eternal youth, a power that still seems to linger in its inhabitants, as both its men and women are renowned for their natural beauty. With oriental features, tanned skin, and curvaceous bodies, it is also a tax haven with a vibrant nightlife, where foam parties and a special connection with tourists captivate visitors with its magic. Cyprus is also one of the countries with the most blue beaches in the world, and it has unique curiosities such as a lake that turns pink only when a natural miracle occurs, which you will learn about later. Having two countries within the same territory, being able to enjoy snow and the beach in a few hours, and not having trains. Fascinating facts that you will soon discover have to do with why it is known as the Island of Cats due to their enormous presence, descendants of a cat army that an empress imported from neighboring countries to exterminate a plague of poisonous snakes that invaded the region and threatened its inhabitants. With ghost towns where cars and buildings remain frozen in time, and a sea that hides the so-called Titanic of the Mediterranean, a huge ship that sank with more than 100 trucks on board. Pay attention and don't miss this video because we assure you that discovering Cyprus with us will surprise you. Let's get started. In the heart of Europe, hidden among the waters of one of the most beautiful seas on the planet, lies Cyprus, an island that seems straight out of an ancient tale. A place where mythology, wild nature, and hospitality intertwine to form a nation that captivates those who discover it. This sun-drenched land rises in the eastern Mediterranean at a strategic point where continents, cultures, and civilizations have met for millennia. Cyprus is divided between the Republic of Cyprus and an area controlled by Turkey, the result of its complex recent history and problems with its neighbor Turkey. This island is strategically located in the Mediterranean, bordered to the north by Turkey, to the west, just a few hours by boat, by Greece, and to the east, very close to its shores, by Syria and Lebanon. As you can imagine, its waters are among the most beautiful on the planet, and its history and legends are among the most enigmatic in the world. Despite its geographical importance, Cyprus has a low population density. This has been fundamental in keeping much of its territory intact, with unspoiled landscapes, crystal-clear beaches, and natural spaces that seem frozen in time. One of the most impressive examples of this natural beauty is the Salt Lake of Larnaca, famous for a miracle that occurs under certain specific conditions, when its waters turn an intense pink color. This phenomenon is caused by a unique combination of microorganisms, such as the algae Dunaliella salina, and the high concentration of salt in the water. When sunlight hits the lake, these algae produce a reddish pigment that transforms the water into a fascinating visual spectacle. This color change not only dazzles visitors, but also attracts large numbers of pink flamingos, which arrive each year to feed on the small crustaceans and algae that grow in this unique saline environment. The presence of these fascinating birds adds a magical and lively touch to an already extraordinary landscape. The curious and mysterious thing is that the lake does not always turn pink. It depends on the perfect balance between temperature, salinity, and sunlight. So this natural miracle can seem unpredictable, making each visit unique and special. The origin of the name Cyprus is closely linked to its history. It comes from the Latin Cyprus, which is related to the word copper, something that, although not so obvious today, has to do with the fact that in ancient times this island was one of the main sources of this metal, which was fundamental to the economy and technology of ancient civilizations. For centuries, Cyprus was a melting pot of cultures and peoples. Greeks, Phoenicians, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, and Ottomans passed through these lands, leaving a cultural and architectural legacy that is still visible today. One of the most impressive examples of this heritage is the medieval city of Famagusta, especially its Othello fortress and the walls surrounding the old city. These imposing walls and towers were built by the Venetians in the 16th century to protect themselves from Ottoman attacks, a magnificent example of military engineering of the time that reflects the importance of this beautiful country. What is fascinating is how Renaissance construction techniques were combined with local architecture to create a defensive system that withstood numerous sieges and remains almost intact today, becoming a living testimony to the history and resilience of Cyprus. A legend that has accompanied Cyprus since its origins is that of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. It is said that the goddess emerged naked from the sea on a rock formation called Aphrodite's Rock or Petra tou Romiou, located on the southwest coast of the island, near the beach that bears her name. According to myth, this sacred place granted the goddess the gift of eternal youth and beauty. This story not only envelops Cyprus in an aura of mystery, but many Cypriots, as well as foreigners and tourists, still bathe in these waters today, hoping to absorb some of the magical and rejuvenating power that the legend promises. The beauty and vitality surrounding this myth seem to be reflected in the radiant appearance of its inhabitants. Cypriot men and women are known for their tanned skin, almond-shaped eyes, oriental features, and harmonious bodies. This natural beauty, combined with their hospitable and cheerful character, makes anyone who visits the island feel welcome and connected to a truly special place. In Cyprus, both its people and its beaches possess a unique beauty, which is why it is recognized as one of the countries with the most blue water beaches in the world, a distinction that means its coastline maintains exceptional quality, with clean, transparent seas that reflect multiple shades of blue, or in other words, the most beautiful and well-kept beaches and seas in the world. Today, Cyprus is a destination that combines tradition and modernity, with cities that maintain the essence of the past and others that offer the services and amenities of the present. Probably one of the most complex and fascinating realities that not everyone knows about and that makes this island unique is that it is divided into two countries. This division arose from a series of historical, cultural, and political tensions that deeply marked the country's recent history. To understand it better, it is important to know its neighbors and the geopolitical context surrounding this island. The division of Cyprus took place after the events of 1974, when Turkey intervened on the island following a coup d'état that sought union with Greece. This episode led to the island being divided into two parts: the south, controlled by the Republic of Cyprus, and the north, which proclaimed itself the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey. The border separating these two areas is known as the Green Line, a demilitarized strip that not only crosses the open countryside, but also the city of Nicosia, the country's capital, literally dividing it in two and making it the only capital in the world divided between two countries. This border is guarded by UN troops, whose mission is to prevent clashes and maintain peace, and stretches for around 150 kilometers across the island, literally dividing the country in two. A curious feature of this border is that in some areas, passage between one side and the other is strictly controlled, while in others, there are specific points called checkpoints, where residents and visitors can cross after showing documentation. In recent years, transit has been made easier, allowing for some contact and coexistence between the two communities, although the political division remains. A curiosity closely linked to this division affects the real estate market in northern Cyprus. It is a reality that every tourist or person interested in settling there should be aware of, as properties, villas, houses, or apartments in this area tend to be significantly cheaper than in the rest of the island, which at first glance may seem like a very attractive opportunity for those looking to buy a home or invest. However, there is an important restriction in northern Cyprus. The purchase of real estate is prohibited for foreigners, and also for many Cypriots, due to legal disputes over ownership and the lack of international recognition of this part of the island. This situation creates a complicated scenario. Many tourists are attracted not only by the natural beauty and hospitality of northern Cyprus, but also by the tax advantages offered by the island, as well as its unique atmosphere, festivals, and the beauty of its people. However, they should bear in mind that investing in real estate there is not as straightforward or legally secure as in other parts of Cyprus. Therefore, those planning to move or invest should be well informed and aware of these particularities to avoid surprises. Despite its attractions, northern Cyprus has significant restrictions, such as the inability to purchase property without the risk of losing it later, if certain legal requirements are not met. In Cyprus, despite this physical and political separation, life continues to flow on both sides, with communities maintaining their culture and traditions, but also with hopes and constant efforts to find a peaceful and lasting solution that will unify the island. This separation not only physically divided an island, but also left a deep mark on its landscape, history, and inhabitants. One of the most striking and disturbing consequences was the emergence of veritable ghost towns in the north of the country. Entire areas that were once bustling with life were left completely empty overnight, as if time had stood still. The most striking example is Varosha in Famagusta, a coastal city that, until July 20th, 1974, was one of the most luxurious and coveted tourist destinations in the eastern Mediterranean. Its white sand beaches, luxury hotels, and lively streets welcomed celebrities and tourists from around the world. It was said to be the favorite place for stars such as Brigitte Bardot and Elizabeth Taylor to escape the hustle and bustle of the rest of Europe. But everything changed in a matter of hours. Following the Turkish intervention, Varosha was surrounded, completely evacuated, and declared a closed military zone. Residents fled, leaving behind their belongings, vehicles, shops, and homes. Since then, the city has remained frozen in time, as if time had stood still. Today, Varosha is a real ghost town, visible from the Turkish side, but for decades it was completely inaccessible. From a distance, you can still see the skeletons of the old hotels, the empty windows, the rusted cars in the streets, and the vegetation slowly reclaiming every corner. It is a place where nostalgia and the surreal mix, arousing a mixture of fascination and sadness among those who manage to get close. One of the most disturbing curiosities is that, for years, the city's clock seemed to be frozen in time. Mannequins dressed in 1970s fashion can still be seen in shop windows, and promotional posters for shows and advertisements remain hanging on the walls, as if waiting for an audience that never returned. If you are enjoying this trip through Cyprus and discovering places like Varosha, please like this video to encourage us to continue creating content like this. Thank you. In recent years, part of the city has been partially reopened, although access remains very limited and surrounded by political tensions. Varosha has become a time capsule, a place where the past was trapped without warning, and whose history continues to be written, as it remains one of the most mysterious places in the Mediterranean. Despite realities such as these, Cyprus has managed to maintain its cultural identity and appeal as a tourist destination, with communities that preserve centuries-old traditions and a human warmth that transcends borders. And if there is one thing that stands out as much as its landscapes and beaches, it is its people. Cypriots, both men and women, have a natural beauty that seems to have been sculpted by the gods. Many locals attribute this to their ancestral connection to Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, who according to mythology emerged from the sea foam on the coast of Paphos, a place where you can still visit the legendary Rock of Aphrodite, known as Petra to Romeo. According to legend, those who bathe in these waters will receive the gift of eternal youth and beauty. That is why every summer, both locals and tourists dive into its crystal-clear waters in the hope of absorbing some of the power that, according to legend, still inhabits the area. And the truth is that there must be something special about Cypriot water, because its inhabitants always seem radiant. With skin naturally tanned by the Mediterranean sun and features that blend Eastern and European traits, Cypriots exude charisma, joy, and hospitality. They are known for their welcoming nature, always ready to share a meal, a story, or a party. This warmth is also reflected in their social life, especially in the summer months. In summer, Cypriot nightlife explodes with light, music, and fun. Coastal cities such as Ayia Napa and Limassol are famous for their boat parties, where you can dance to the rhythm of the sea, and for their foam parties, authentic summer carnivals where young people from all over the world mix in bikinis and skimpy outfits in venues filled with foam to the beat of music and sensual dancing. The combination of natural beauty, human warmth, and a festive atmosphere has made Cyprus a highly sought-after destination, not only for tourists, but also for those seeking a new life. And not just for the sun or the sea, but for something much more practical. Cyprus is one of the most interesting tax havens in Europe. This country offers very advantageous tax rates for freelancers, companies, and foreign residents. For example, compared to countries such as Spain, where the tax rate can easily exceed 47%, in Cyprus corporate taxes are around 12.5%, one of the lowest in the European Union. And that's not all. There is no tax on foreign dividends in many cases, and there are special schemes for digital nomads and entrepreneurs. Obtaining residency is also an accessible process. With a minimal investment, or by setting up a business, you can obtain residency in less than 3 months, which has attracted investors, remote workers, and retirees from all over the world. A real magnet for those fleeing what many call tax hell. Of course, although it is a paradise for business, it is also a paradise for those who value tranquility and beauty, because unlike other more gray or impersonal tax havens, Cyprus offers an enviable quality of life, idyllic beaches, safety, gastronomy, culture, and more than 300 days of sunshine a year. At this point, before we reveal the most striking curiosities about this country, we would like to ask you, would you like to enjoy Cyprus, its festivals, or its women? Or are you more attracted to its beaches and tax advantages? What has impressed you most about this country? Pause the video and leave us your comments. You know that doing so is the best way to support Uncensored World, so that we can continue working every week to bring you content as interesting as this. So, thank you. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss our next videos. We are preparing more equally impressive destinations. If there's one thing that surprises first-time visitors to Cyprus, it's the number of cats roaming the streets, ports, and fields. This is no coincidence. The island is known as the Island of Cats. Legend has it that in the 4th century, Empress Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine, saw poisonous snakes taking over the Akrotiri Peninsula. To save the monks who lived there, she ordered hundreds of cats to be brought from Egypt and Syria. As soon as the felines touched land, they began a silent battle against the snakes, and over time, managed to keep them at bay. Even today, the monastery of St. Nicholas of the Cats boasts of its cat army. Cypriots claim that there are more cats than people, and it's not hard to believe. You'll see kitties dozing in the sun on the docks of Larnaca, strolling among Roman ruins, or watching over the terraces of taverns. The coexistence is so ancient that locals claim that cats have brought good luck and prosperity to the island. The curious thing is that despite the reputation of snakes, they are rarely seen in tourist areas today. Instead, cats have become a living symbol of Cypriot hospitality, willing to share their table, shade, and purrs with any traveler. But there is another treasure, liquid and amber-colored, that claims Cyprus's long history. We are talking about Commandaria, the oldest wine in the world that is still in production. Its history dates back almost 3,000 years, when it was already being made in the highlands near the Troodos Mountains. This sweet, thick wine with an intense flavor is made from grapes harvested late and dried in the sun. It was so highly prized in the Middle Ages that Richard the Lionheart called it the wine of kings and the king of wines during his wedding in Limassol in the 12th century. And although Commandaria is one of the country's best-kept secrets, there is another that lies beneath its waters, shrouded in mystery and rust. the so-called Titanic of the Mediterranean. This ship, whose real name is Zenobia, was a huge Swedish ferry that sank in 1980 off the coast of Larnaca during its maiden voyage. The Zenobia was carrying more than 100 trucks loaded with cargo, making its wreck one of the 10 most fascinating in the world for diving. Its size is comparable to that of a multi-story building, and its structure remains surprisingly intact. It attracts divers from all over the world who dive down to explore its ghostly corridors and abandoned cabins. If you want to visit the Zenobia, or any of the country's other underwater secrets, there's something you should know. You won't be able to get there by train. And it's not because of a lack of connections, but because there are no railways on the entire island. Cyprus is one of the few countries in Europe without trains, which comes as a surprise to many travelers. However, there is no shortage of sunshine. With over 300 days of sunshine a year, Cyprus is one of the sunniest places on the planet. Its climate is so unique that in certain months of the year, you can enjoy snow and the beach within an hour of each other. The ski slope on Mount Olympus, located in the Troodos Mountains, allows you to ski in January or February. And just a few kilometers down the road, you can be sunbathing on the beach in Limassol or swimming in the turquoise waters of Ayia Napa. This almost magical mix of climatic contrasts is just one more example of the diversity of this island. And so, among ancient ruins, thousand-year-old wines, divided cities, historical lows, and sunken ships, Cyprus reveals itself as one of the most fascinating destinations in the Mediterranean, a place where history mixes with legend, and the everyday with the extraordinary. If you've come this far, you'll probably want to know how to get to Cyprus and make the most of its beaches, parties, and legends. That's why at Uncensored World we've researched this in detail, so you know how to get there and squeeze the most out of this beautiful country. For travelers departing from the Americas, the usual route is to fly to London, Athens, Istanbul, or Dubai, and connect from there to Larnaca or Paphos, the island's 2 international airports. Those departing from any European city have it even easier. There are plenty of direct seasonal and low-cost flights. Most visitors, including citizens of the European Union, the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and much of Latin America, do not need a visa for the Republic of Cyprus if their stay is for tourism and does not exceed 3 months. In the northern area controlled by Turkey, a free stamp is issued upon arrival. In terms of cost, Cyprus is affordable. Dinner for 2 in a traditional tavern costs around $40, while a double room in a mid-range hotel ranges from 80 to 120 euros, depending on the season. In addition to being friendly to travelers, Cyprus ranks year after year among the safest countries in the world, thanks to its low crime rates, strong sense of community, and constant presence of tourist police. Once there, the list of must-sees is long, but it's worth starting with Nisi Beach in Ayia Napa, Fig Tree Bay in Protoras, and Coral Bay in Paphos, 3 beaches with white sand and turquoise waters that have been awarded blue flags. Add to that the Roman mosaics of Kourion on the cliff and the walled city of Nicosia, and you have a perfect mosaic of culture, history, and nature to turn your vacation into an unforgettable memory. And if nightlife is your thing, the epicenter of summer revelry is in Ayia Napa, where boat parties with international DJs, endless cocktails, and sunsets on the high seas are almost a religion. In its nightclubs and bars, foam parties take over every week during the hot months, mixing electronic beats with visual spectacles in a young and vibrant atmosphere. Protaras and Larnaca also offer good nightlife options, although if you're looking for a non-stop party, Ayia Napa is the place that never sleeps. At Uncensored World, we hope this video has helped you discover and enjoy Cyprus, one of the most fascinating and, for many, unknown gems on the planet. If so, don't hesitate to give us a like. It's the best way you can help us continue working to bring you interesting content like this every week. Videos like this one, which you can watch below, allow you to enjoy the beauty and curiosities of another of the most fascinating places on the planet. Click on it. You're going to enjoy it.